All right. Well, hello, Facebook.
Hey there,
It is LaDawn Elliott,
and Nicole Bradley.
and we are back. We are on day 11 of our 12-day Conquering the Inner Storm live stream. We have made it all the way to day 11. And yes, that's our beautiful journal, Conquering the Inner Storm. I know. Wow, these 12 days have gone by incredibly fast. One more day,
I
like
don't like it.
literally one more day.
I don't like it. I
I
don't like it at all.
I know. I feel like this is part of my daily routine and
Right.
what we're gonna do on
You
day
know,
13, right?
yeah, they say when you do something, what is it, 17 days or 16 days or more, it's like it becomes a habit, you develop a new habit. So
Oh,
I'm like, since we're extraordinary
yeah,
and it takes everybody else 17 days, but it really takes us 10,
10, 10.
it's a habit now.
Well, this has been a good habit. I am glad that we have created a space for the reimagined potential journalers, the RPJs that have joined us every night. I'm glad that we have created a space for them to feel safe, to
Yeah.
share what they are thinking and feeling each night as it relates to the topic. I am appreciative of the space that we've created, that we have felt comfortable enough to be vulnerable and share. And we've shared some things. Like,
That is correct.
again, in these days, I've learned more about you. I guess you've learned more about me.
Yes.
And I'm hoping what we've learned about each other, the audience has also learned a little bit about who we are and why this baby is our baby, what we hope to gain with putting this baby out to the world,
That's
and
right.
how we hope to help impact the world with helping people to really heal their inner storms, because we carry the stuff around with us, and we normalize our trauma, we
That's right.
normalize the things that keep us stagnant, and we don't really know that those things are there. Well, oftentimes we may
Right.
not know as it impacts our daily choices, but when we
Mhm.
sit with ourselves, we kind of know,
That's
right?
right.
So
And the main goal is, again, we talked about every day. It's not prescriptive. You can go through the book.
mhm.
Um, you can skip chapters. You can skip pages. We're hoping that as you're going through this exercise, that the topics that are near and dear to your heart, you get curious about it. You get
Yes,
curious about digging deeper. You get curious maybe about getting more information, whether it's a therapy session, whether it's talking to someone, maybe it's mending a friendship or relationship that's been broken. It could be any number of things, but we're hoping that if you just do one, if you become better at one thing out of our 12 lifestyle topics, I mean, purpose is fulfilled.
yes,
Purpose is fulfilled.
yes,
So
yes.
that's the hope. That's
I'm
the hope.
hoping if it's just one thing that gives you the inspiration and the courage to go tackle another lifestyle topic. So
Absolutely.
we've had a range. We've had guests on each and every night. One guest has already completed the book. She just got it in December, has
She
completed.
thinks she all that.
Yeah, okay. She was our star student as it relates to moving through the book.
That's
And
right.
she didn't start on chapter one. She started with the chapters that resonated the most with her. And she
Hmm.
said, as she started pouring out, she just couldn't stop. She couldn't stop. And then we had one guest on that's working with a group, and they're doing a chapter a month, right?
Exactly. And
We have
having a
some
graduation
a
celebration.
whole
It's
graduation,
their
right?
whole year of transformative freedom.
Yeah.
And
So
then we got one guest who said, "Hey, you should go through this journal every year, the same journal, to see
yeah,
how much you've grown and how much your perspective has changed based on your insights and awarenesses here." So
yeah, it's just been amazing. Like the
never would have
that
thought.
yeah, I mean, I think we had big pie in the sky dreams as to how people would approach it and receive it.
Mhm.
But I think my dreams about how it would feel with people has been topped, right?
It's
Just based
been
on the conversation from these 12 nights, right? So yeah. So
the
yeah.
fireworks are coming
Okay.
down.
All of it. All of it. So yeah. Obedience is a good thing because it has allowed
Mhm.
us to share with others what is near and dear to us, and it's allowing us to serve. So at the
Yep.
end of the day, we want this journal to span globally, to be translated into all kind of languages for everybody to use it. But if it just reaches one,
If it just reached one. Remember, we had one of our guests says, I put stuff in here I hadn't even shared with my therapist.
that's right. That's right. That is
Better
right.
than therapy.
Yeah, it's better than therapy,
Better
right?
than therapy.
Yeah, yeah. So if it's just one person that it
Yeah,
reaches, that one person changes. And then because that one person changes, it changes their interaction with people, which creates a ripple effect. So
absolutely.
yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. So
All
tonight,
day.
all day. Tonight's topic again, we're on day 11. The
Hmm.
topic is managing finances and saving for the future. So before we jump in, Nicole, I want to give a shout out to a couple of people that are signed in. So hello,
Okay.
Verna and Jackie. Thank you for joining. Hello, Felicia Taylor. Thank you for joining. Hello, Dot. Hello, Betty. And hello, Fajika. We appreciate
All right.
yes,
Hey,
yes.
everybody.
Appreciate you guys for tuning in. So we're going to jump into this one. I'm excited about this one because, as I was saying on the promo before the show, finance. So people don't like to talk about religion. People don't like to talk about relationships and sex. People don't like to talk about their money. So I'm always nervous when those topics come up because people are so sensitive about those topics. Now,
Yes.
people like to flash their money. Like, if I make money, I'll show you my dollars by way of what I'm able to purchase with those dollars, by way of how I'm able to live with those dollars. But people
Right.
don't really like to talk about budgeting,
Yep. Hey, the tough
saving.
time, the
Yeah,
beanies and weenies.
yeah, all that. I mean, well, even in times that are good, people don't like to feel like someone else is trying to tell them what to do with their money, right? So
Yep.
this is a good topic for me. So I'll read the excerpt, and you let me get a little swig of water here, but I'll read the
Okay.
excerpt, and then if you want to jump in with the one word activity, because I failed again tonight. I don't have one word, so
You may not have fallen by yourself.
okay,
Let's just
hey,
say
okay.
that.
Hey, we will take it. So managing finances and saving for the future. Managing finances and saving for the future involves creating a budget, setting financial goals, and making smart financial decisions. It may also involve developing healthy spending habits, reducing debt, and finding ways to increase income. Building an emergency fund and saving for long-term goals, such as retirement, can also be important. Seeking guidance from a financial planner or advisor may be helpful in creating a financial plan that works for you. By managing your finances and saving for the future, you can achieve financial stability and security. So that's the excerpt. So, what is the one word or words that you selected from that excerpt in order to complete our first activity in this chapter, which is the one word activity?
Hold on. Hold on one second. My son just texted me. Hold on just one quick second. Eddie.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, y'all.
There are a lot of words in
Yeah.
this particular one that stand out to me.
Hmm.
And again, they're words that people really don't want to hear every day.
Hmm.
I think we all realize that, well, we all hope that we have a long life, but we don't necessarily always plan for having a long life. And we get to those more senior years of life and we find ourselves in financial struggle, having to decide some things, that are just basic living things. So I think we as a people have to get better about managing our finances. And that's not to say you can't have fun when you're younger, but being very smart about the decisions that we make with the money so that we can live as fruitful and enjoyable of a life when we are in that area of retirement. And people are retiring earlier these days. They just don't want to work until they're 70 and then don't have much time after that to enjoy life. So people are retiring early, and you want to be able to do some of the things that you did while you
Right.
were working every day. You don't want to have to go from, well, if I enjoy going out eating once a week at a very nice restaurant, that I'm just relegated to just, you know, going to, I don't know, a smuggish board because I didn't manage my money right, right? So, but anyway, go ahead with your
I'm
one.
sorry, y'all. Thank y'all for
Go
being
ahead, go
patient
ahead.
with me. All right, one word, which is two words. Financial security was my word.
Okay.
So at the bottom, the last sentence reads, by managing your finances and savings for the future, you can achieve financial stability and financial security. Okay. So I just put financial security means different things to different people. Today, for me, it means my bank account is positive after taking care of my necessities. So for me, if I pay all my bills and I got 32 cents in that mug, in my mind, I'm rich and I can ball out on my 32 cents. Whatever that is, I'm balling out. I mean, long as it's not negative, Nicole is good, but that's not financial security. So I'm just letting y'all know. And then it says, to my husband though, because we share an account, it means saving every dime, putting away for an emergency fund, and following a strict budget.
Yeah.
Then he married me. Not quite sure
It's a
why,
balance.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Polar opposites. You come together and find some balance. Yeah.
Right. That's what. So as much as we differ, we have found a good balance. But the rub is building generational wealth. So I want to build generational wealth. So building generational wealth means I can't have an attitude where having 32 cents at the end of the day is okay. So I said that is the conflict that must be addressed. Then and for me in my mind, I'm like, how do I do this? What are my plans? I had how question mark. What are my plans question mark? And then initially I put scared, but when I look back at it the second time, I spelled sacred, and I was like, hmm. So I went and did some research in the scripture. I was like, okay, if finances are sacred, what does that really mean? And so I just did some additional digging for myself and just reminded myself of God's abundance, of God's promise and his purpose of prosperity. And honestly, that just really relieved me of the overwhelm of how and what the plan is going to be. So I know I still need to figure that out, but I know who I serve. And so if I know who I serve, I know all of those other things will be added unto me.
Okay. 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 I like that. Because you can't worry and have faith at the same time, right?
Hello.
So okay. All right. I get that. I get that. My two words, well, three words, were smart, stability, and security. So
Oh,
making smart financial decisions, that was part of one sentence, and you can achieve financial stability and security. So I am that person that is always seeking stability in my life and security in my life. And I will work. I'm not afraid to work. Now, I've always wanted to be retired because freedom and independence are values of mine, but I also like security and stability. So I've never been afraid to work to make sure I had the finances that I needed to take care of myself and my children. It has involved making smart financial decisions, and these were decisions that were made based on me learning as I was growing. So, my grandmother taught me how to balance a checkbook. So, growing up, I knew you needed to have a bank account, a checking and a savings account. So that was the financial advice. Get your job, get your bank account, put some in your checking, put some in your savings, and balance your account. So when you grow up and you enter the workforce, you hear things like 401k. You hear things like saving. My grandmother and my mother, everybody has life insurance policies, but they don't tell you the difference between life insurance and death insurance. So as you
wow.
grow, as you mature, as you seek information, you learn to make better decisions to help you meet your financial goals. And so I don't have a dollar amount for my financial goals.
I
I just
don't even.
make sure that I am putting in place things for generational wealth. I also want to make sure that when I want to do something, it's not a concern. So finances for me, financial stability and security means that I'm able to take care of everything that I need to take care of my needs but also enjoy the things I want without worry. So that's why those things, those words were important to me, because I think you have to make smart decisions, and what's smart for me may not be smart for you. Everybody's financial goals are different. Everybody's
Mhm.
finances are different.
That's
So
right.
and I don't believe that you have to make a lot of money in order to enjoy life, because
I
I know
agree.
some people that are like $10, $15 hour people, but
Mhm.
they know how to budget. They know
I
how to take
mean,
advantage of all of the things that are out
absolutely.
there. They're gonna vacation every year. They're gonna have cars. They're
That's
gonna
right.
live their life because they are making smart decisions with your money. So you don't have to
Absolutely.
be $800,000 a year in order to enjoy life, right? So
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said making smart decisions. I think in my past, I have made some very unwise decisions with money.
okay,
So just learning from that and um, I think especially with money with family, making sure that you are having the conversations of it seems like this is a repeat situation. How do
okay,
we fix this and not necessarily say that Nicole or Nicole's bank account is should solve that problem on a
okay,
monthly basis for me. So,
okay, okay. So again, I'm gonna ask our
oh,
PJs
yes,
to engage.
PRJers.
Yes, ask you guys to engage in the conversation. So we talked about smart financial decisions, stability, security. So either one of those, what is a smart financial decision that you've made that makes you feel good about what you have done with your money? Or what is something you've done with your money that you felt like has brought you stability and security? And it could be anything. It could have just
Mhm.
been cutting out some of your spending habits. It could have been opening up a different type of savings account. It could have been
That's
whatever.
right.
So
Right.
what have you done to that you believe is a smart financial decision, or that has created stability and security in your life as it relates to your finances? And thank you, Dodie Jensen, for joining us. We appreciate you joining us tonight. So we're talking about managing finances and saving for the future. A
Hmm.
topic a lot of us don't want to talk about because we don't want everybody to tell us what to do with our money. So
Our coin
our,
situation.
our coins. So yes. So let's go ahead and jump over to the quote.
Okay.
I think you have the first quote and
I'll
question.
take the first quote. Yes, ma'am. So the first quote is by T.T. Munger, and the quote reads, "The habit of saving is itself an education.
Mhm.
It fosters every virtue, teaches self-denial, which I'm not good at self-denial, cultivates a sense of order, trains to forethought, and so broadens the mind." And so when I first read this, the first part I love about this quote is the broadens the mind, thinking about savings as a way of broadening the mind. And so I wrote, I don't think I have ever thought about saving money in this way, but money may change your life and circumstances, and savings can get me to my goal of eliminating generational poverty and perhaps some of my emotional dealing with some of my emotional triggers with money. So I do have some emotional triggers with money. I think in going through the section, I recognize that, and I don't think I ever recognized that before.
Okay. You want to share?
Probably now. Yeah, yeah. So some of my emotional triggers, financial anxiety, just the thought of scarcity, not having enough, um, and not being able to take care of my responsibilities. So that's, the Bradley household and Trey Phelps, our kids, all of our kids. Ron has 3 children and we have 5 grandkids. So our family unit. So I've suffered from financial anxiety before. And I would honestly just say mood swings. Sometimes, when the bank account ain't looking like you accustomed to it looking, and you can't move like you want to move. I mean, sometimes you feel depressed, or you may feel like all this work for what?
Yeah.
Like what am I doing? Like I made way more money than I ever did before. Like why am I not getting ahead? So I think those triggers are around finances for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And those are
Yeah,
some
I
probably,
share all mine.
yeah, probably some very common triggers. Yeah, because
Yeah,
everybody wants to
Right.
be able to take care of their families, and everybody wants to be able to move like they want to move. So yeah,
Right.
certainly,
And
certainly.
I think I recognize about myself, I don't like choices. Like I don't like having to choose.
Yeah, yeah,
It's my thought and we're gonna
yeah,
do it. Like
yeah, yeah,
like why do I have to say, am I gonna take this with this and this, or am I gonna take that with that and that because it's 25% lower? Like I don't want the discount to be the gig.
yeah.
I don't want to, I want the choice to be the a value choice, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. So it's so funny you said earlier today. I'm gonna share a conversation we had today.
Yeah.
So you just said that Ron, your husband, is a saver, but you're like, I'm not trying to save, right?
Yeah, like,
So
who's doing that?
yeah, it's so amazing that the opposites are brought together. But I think we talked about last night appreciating the diversity, the differences,
Yes.
and what you can learn from your partner and understanding their financial love language. So he doesn't feel like you're just spending all the money, and he doesn't feel like, I mean, you don't feel like he's keeping you from stuff that you want. You figure out the balance. But the
Right.
conversation we had today, Nicole and I were, we have just moved into an office, right? So we were so excited about that. And so we were getting things that we needed for the office. And so we went to make one purchase. And then when we clicked on it, I was like, okay. And she was like,
What?
that's what we're doing. That is what we're doing. And I was like, wait a minute, I have to process. I have to process.
And I'm
And
like, click,
yeah.
put in cart.
And I said, it is so funny because we have conversations. So we're entrepreneurs. And so we go in and do a lot of things for people. And I know that we are bar none way better than a lot of people. And I know what we bring to the table. And I know every
Mhm.
customer that has worked with us has been over the moon, right? So I know the value we bring to the table. But Nicole will be like, well, this is the same service. I mean, we're giving them, the same thing, but they're a smaller company. What that
Yeah,
mean? Because the service is the service. It took us the
that's
same
correct.
amount of time to put it together. I don't. Hey, they knocked on our door, right? So this.
That's
So
correct.
so I'm like, yeah, we cost, we high, right? But in a minute, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna spend $2 on that because they might have it for $1.95 at Walmart. Like we got to go.
We got to
We
go to
got to go.
Walmart to get it. In my mind, like that 5 cent is not worth it.
Yeah. So, and my mom can attest to this because I'll come back and get it. It'll be gone. That kind of stuff. So
My husband is the same way.
I have
I'm
to put
like,
that.
get it now. Like it's $2. And he'd be like, well, I may have a coupon that I had in my email 6 months ago for like a half a cent off. And I'm like, bruh. And then he'll call me like, you remember last month when I was supposed to get that thing for $2? You remember what it was? No, I don't remember what it was.
So yeah, everybody has a different financial language, and you have to understand
Right.
your triggers. So I have to ask myself, like, what is the trigger? Why can't I just go ahead and buy? Why must I research to the ends of the earth? Like why? Like what? So but anyway, so I thought I'd share that. So yeah, everybody has their own financial thing. So what about your question?
Yeah, my
Oh, I'm
question
sorry.
is,
Let me read Verna. Verna put,
uh-oh.
I asked people to put something that they've done to create
Oh, that's right.
financial stability or security or a smart financial decision. And she said, stay at home and not go shopping. So that's
Mm.
the truth rule. Now I joke, and I'm gonna put your business out there in the street, Verna.
Uh-oh.
So my mother is a professional shopper. Like my mother cannot go into the gas station and not walk out with the pack of chewing gum. She's gonna have to buy something. So when we're together, she's like, I don't understand how we can be shopping all day and you don't buy nothing. But she's gonna get something, and she's always buying for others, right? So my mother has so much, like not in a hoarder kind of way, but she buys stuff. So I joke, I tell people, you can be like, I need an orange bra with pink lace in a size 6F that ties up in the back and you slip it over your head in 1 foot. Like, hold on just a second. I
I,
got it.
I,
But she
I
don't
think
buy
I got
it.
it. I
She
think I
got it.
got it.
Like, how do you have that? Why do you have that? So yeah, she's a shopper. So that's a good one.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Nice.
That's a good one. Thank you, Angela, for joining. So we're talking about finances tonight. So Nicole
Yeah.
will get into her question.
Yep. How can you educate yourself about financial management and seek guidance from a financial planner or advisor?
Mhm.
So you can educate yourself through courses. There's a lot of free courses out there. There are courses you can take online on demand. You can go to your local college
Yep.
and take courses now on financial management, budget, personal budgeting, things of that nature. There are podcasts out there. You can speak with others who are in a position where you want to get to. So I use my sister, for example. Her and her husband are like, I'm telling you, I'm sure they're millionaires already, and you would never know it. But I talked to her about, if I'm having a problem where I can't get to whatever goal I'm trying to save to, she'll provide me with some tips. Um, and so you get with those type of people, follow their recipe, meet with a financial planner or advisor, which is a goal of mine this year. I have not done that, so to put some goals in place. And then I did put this down because y'all pray for me. RPJers, I need y'all praying for your sister. You may have to be ready to make some lifestyle changes.
Yeah. Yes.
That's all I'm saying. You just might have to say, you know what? I may have to do something, sell something, do a second something for a little while to get to whatever goal you're trying to get to. But for on a temporary basis, hopefully for me, you may have to make some lifestyle changes. And that's the truth, Ruth.
And that's a fact. And
That's a
that's a
fact.
fact. That's a
That's
fact.
a,
I
yep.
don't even have anything to say to that, but that's a fact. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All
There
right.
it is.
So I'll jump into the next quote and question.
Okay.
So the quote is by David Ramsey. A budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went.
Mm.
So yes, tracking your spending is a scary truth for most people. So, we spend, especially if you're out there in the working world. You go to work, you stop at Starbucks, you go to the vending machine, you go down to the cafeteria, you stop on the way home, you go get dinner tonight, like whatever that looks like. And people just don't realize how much money they spend, but you realize quickly at the end of the month that your money just doesn't seem to ever be enough. Or when
Mm-hmm.
you want to do things that are not um like things you have to do, you find yourself having to figure out how to get the money, right? And
Right.
people will
Right.
often say, well, I can't do it because I don't have the money, right? But when you're talking to a financial advisor or a financial planner, and I'm not even talking about, planning estates, I'm just talking about your regular day-to-day spending, and they
Right.
have you track that spending, and you really see how much. I heard someone say, we really have to see how much we are spending on vending machines. And vending machines is anything that you spend your money on during the day. Again, that Starbucks, that candy bar you pick up at the gas station, that Coca-Cola you pick up here, whatever it is, those are vending machines, because those are not necessarily necessities. Those are things that you see, that you put your little money in, pull the lever, and it comes out for immediate satisfaction. So we have to really understand when we're spending. Are we spending out of impulse? Are we able to discipline ourselves and control that spending? And most people are not, because as you alluded to, people don't want to change their lifestyle, but they
Mm-hmm.
want money, and money is everywhere. Like I read somewhere a long time ago that money is all in your house. We have so many things that we don't use,
That's true.
that are still good, that we don't want, that we're just holding on to. It's taking up space, right?
Yep.
When you live in a world where you can go on all kind of sites and sell your stuff, trade your stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
have money, right? We
Right.
haven't even gotten to the discipline of budgeting. So you have to budget in order to make sure you understand where your money goes. Because if you don't understand where your money goes, it will slip away from you so very easily, right?
Yep.
So the question:
Uh-oh.
what creative and realistic strategies can you employ to manage your discretionary spending to help you reach your savings goals? So again, tracking that spending, but you can't track it weekly or monthly to start off. You got to track it daily. You got to track it daily. So I think for me, you have to create a daily goal of how much money I want to spend. And then you can work your way up to weekly, then monthly. But you have to create a daily goal. And what I suggest, because it's so easy for us to swipe, when you swipe it, that money ain't real. You just swipe it, right? Sometimes you might get to the cash register and pray and hope it goes through.
Hello, been
It
there,
still ain't
been there, did
real.
that. I mean, once or twice. I'm saying no judgment.
So, don't swipe. If you set that goal of what you want to save that week or what you want to spend, go to the bank, get the cash out, leave your credit cards at home, leave
Yeah.
your bank card at home, and just spend from that stack. Once you spend and you track every day, every week, create a category. When I purchased this, was this a want or was it a need? Was it an impulse buy or was it a planned buy? And then you compare that list. If you have more wants on that list than needs, then you see where your money is going. Then you have a choice to make. Okay,
Good
do
one,
I?
LaDawn.
Hmm?
That's a good one.
Yeah, do I do now? You have a choice to make. Do I want to make a lifestyle change and stop buying all these wants, or am I okay with just kind of
Yep.
spending my
That's right.
discretionary money?
That's
Yes. So
right.
yeah, you have to set a savings goal or weekly spending goal and stick to it. And it's a practice. It's a
Mm-hmm.
practice. So what's motivation for me is that when you do that, when I've done that, trying to get to the end of the week and still having money left out of what I said, and
Yeah.
then putting that money away and then see how much I have at the end of the month. Or if you're a person that really watches your bank account, looking at your bank account before you started versus when you started doing this and see how much money stayed in your account that week. That's
Yeah.
motivation for me,
Yeah.
right? So yeah. So yeah,
Interesting.
that's the quote in question. So let me stop right here before you jump
Okay.
in. So this is Conquering the Inner Storm, our journal that you can purchase on Etsy.com. Just go on Etsy.com and search Conquering the Inner Storm. The picture of our journal will pop up and you can just purchase it. And we urge that you purchase it for yourself and for anyone that you might think would benefit from any of these 12 lifestyle topics that we've covered over these last 11 days. And today we're talking about managing finances and saving for the future. So, okay, Nicole. Thanks, Ron, for joining.
All right. So we got okay. This is a quote by Chris Rock. It
Okay.
says, wealth is not about having a lot of money, but about having a lot of options.
Yeah, that's
I'm an
the truth.
options
That's
chick.
all I want. I want options.
That's
I want options. Yes.
right. So I put wealth, wealth is happiness and health for me, but money may be a vehicle towards
Okay.
all of that.
Okay. Okay.
So I put to support a wealthy lifestyle, the options are what lead to me for greater personal freedoms. So the options may not be the most expensive options, but I love the fact that I'm like, oh wow, I can consider both options, even though I may go with the lesser expensive option, I may go with the free option, whatever it is. I like the personal freedom of having a choice.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that's what it is for me. So I like traveling. I want to have the option to spend more time with my kids and grandkids. I want to have the option to travel more. I want to have the option to do things with my immediate family that we've never done. And one little cool fun fact about me is that I love exotic cars. I have no exotic cars right now, but I would like to have an option of purchasing a couple or
Yeah.
two.
A couple or two. Okay.
Or two.
Okay.
And then my question I have is, how does your current relationship with money align with your desired financial goals? What mindset shift must you take to change your beliefs about money? I ain't like this question.
I
I like that
suspect
it's in the journal. I don't like that I had to answer
I suspect everybody that comes upon that question won't like
it.
that question. That's like the first question. What are you doing to self-sabotage yourself? That's
Yeah,
that.
exactly, exactly. This is one of them. It's a trick
Yeah.
question, right? I put on here getting better with my belief in living abundantly. That's improving. So I think my current mindset shift is around that and not thinking scarcity, but thinking abundance. And then I said I'm currently addressing my mindset, and lately I've been diving into various questions. So for me, I've been thinking about things like what makes me anxious about money and what do I deserve, and how do I continue to talk positively over my finances, over my husband's any potential out there. I'm saying our finances, but any potential. Somebody may want to come and give me $1 million, RBJers. Um, I also think about what are some spend, share, and save options, and then what is my ability to growth or to be wealthy? Like what if I get all this wealth, I'm not prepared even right now to manage it
Okay.
because I'm not managing the less than wealth right now. So I got to get to a place, and we all have to get to a place where, my mom always tell me, if you can't manage $5, you can't manage 5 million.
That's the truth.
So I ain't saying I can't manage $5. I'm just saying that, yeah, I'm working on that management of the $5 better than I have been managing the $5. If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So this talks about, were you finished? I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead, Lenore.
So again, I'm going to ask you RPJers to go ahead and put in the chat, what mindset shift do you need to make as it relates to your beliefs about money? And
Mhm.
I never forget, this guy told me one time that he did not like rich people. He thought they were all evil because
Oh my.
his parents were divorced, and
Uh-huh.
he lived with his mother. And living with his mother, she lived paycheck to paycheck. They were always struggling. It was never enough, but it seemed to be a lot of love in the home.
Okay.
And when he would go stay with his fathers for the summer or for whenever, his father was wealthy, and they had all the things, all the toys, all the things. He enjoyed all kinds of stuff when he went over there. But his father was a complete doo-doo head to
Mm,
him and to everyone else. So he associated people with having money with being like his father.
I see.
So every time he had the opportunity to advance, he noticed, he finally put it together. He didn't know that he had this belief about money. He didn't know that he really carried it with him, but he later noticed that every time he had an opportunity for promotion or to do something that made more money, he would turn it down, or even if he took it, he self-sabotaged himself because he didn't want to be like his father. So
Oh
he had
wow.
to reconcile with that money wasn't evil. My father was just a boo-boo head, right?
Mm,
So yeah, so it's things like that are just that are living in the back of our heads that we
that's
don't
true.
know inform our everyday decisions about everything,
Wow. That's
everything. So yeah,
a great
yeah,
story.
yeah. You have to really, it's some sneaky stuff. So what mindset shift? Angela, Dodie, Verna, Betty, Ron, Dot, what mindset shifts do you all have to make about money? What beliefs do you have around money that could be crippling your ability to have the financial stability and security you want? Right?
Hmm.
Drop it in chat. I'll say, okay, so my quote in question: the best investment you can make is in yourself, by Warren Buffett. I believe that wholeheartedly. This is
Yeah.
a powerful statement. You must invest in yourself,
Right.
every area of your life. You must take
Hmm.
time to take care of your health. So for me, that's making sure that I'm very conscious about what I put into my body. So I know that food is the elixir to health for me. So I'm not saying that I don't enjoy some things, because I do, because I like food, right? But I'm very conscious about making sure I purchase things that are seeds of investment for my health, right? So I invest in my health that way. Investing in me, whether it is me taking money out of my purse personally, or having worked at an organization,
Right.
and as a part of my development, asking them to pay for trainings and certifications for me, because that's a part of my development. That's the way that I invest in myself. I'm going to get a certification. I'm going to get that training. I'm going to get what I need, because that's what I need for me. Whether I'm here or not, I can take that knowledge with me. And it helps me to reach my goals. I think you also have to invest in yourself by continuing to be a student of
Mm.
life, but specifically, since we're talking about money, you have to be a student about finances. Because again,
Yeah.
my financial education was growing up, hey, get a job,
That's right.
paycheck, put it in the bank,
That's
get a
right.
savings, get a saving. balance your checkbook. Don't
That's it.
overdraft, right? Get your
Right.
credit card so you can have credit, but don't go out there blowing it. And then, you make sure you pay your credit card bill and put a little something on it. That was it, right? And so again, if you continue to be a student, you learn about investments, you learn about other
That's
ways
right.
to diversify your money, you learn about compound interest, you learn about things that help you build that wealth. So my question really quickly, so we can get our guest on, is list how your current financial habits show that you are investing in your self-development, health and wellness, and wealth building. So again, just what I talked about, making sure I'm very specific and very intentional about what I purchase as far as what I eat. Looking at different ways to invest and making sure that I use my credit cards for all of my purchases, because there are certain benefits that come along with those purchases. You get points that you can use for travel, you get points that you can use for this. So I'm not going to waste that money, those points that I can turn into cash in some kind of way. But the trick to that is I'm not going to swipe my credit card for more than I can pay off that money. So I'm going to
Mm.
use that credit card for
That's
all
your trick.
my. Mm-hmm.
That's your trick.
Yes, I'm going to use my
That's a
credit
good,
card. That's a good.
that's a good ass trick.
I'm going to use my credit card for all those purchases to get those points, but I'm going to pay it off every month, right? So just little things like that are ways that I can show that I'm investing in myself and self-development. Ron put in smart investing in the stock market does work. Yes. So yeah, if you have companies that you believe in, you can go out there and invest yourself. Or if you work for a company that has 401k, they let you mix up what kind of investor that you want to be, and you can invest that way. That's money that
Absolutely.
grows for you. You don't have to do anything for the money as long as the market is good. So yeah, that's a good one. Yep,
Absolutely.
yep, yep. Okay.
So we have our special guest now. Time for the special guest. Mrs. Megan Marks. I don't know if she's gonna be on video or not, but that's okay if you're not, Megan. I don't know if you're shy.
I was gonna say we can't hear you.
Yeah, we
There
know
she
we
goes. Okay, okay,
we
Million
know
Dollar Smile.
we
Okay,
know
you better
you
come
not
through with
shy.
that
Okay,
smile.
okay. Hey, Megan Marks.
Okay.
Definitely not shy.
So Megan is going to be here today to talk to us about her experience with the journal, her experience with this particular chapter, and anything you'd like to share about this chapter that impacted you personally.
Okay, well, buckle up. No. And
It's
hold
a
on
wild
tight.
ride.
Exactly. This is gonna be a good time. I would say, just kind of thinking about this particular chapter is it's real. It's real and uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
I know that it's important to have that uncomfortability so that you aren't comfortable and you make moves and you make different choices. And so I think, just kind of some of the things that I took away and thought would be important to share or just even just to discuss would be, one thing that I thought about and I want to say loud and clear is do not be afraid to seek help,
Yes.
as in seek help from a financial advisor, seek help from family or someone that you trust and you think you trust that is a wealthy person or has made good investments or good business decisions, right? Just having that discussion, ask for help, because I think we are, we're ashamed or we're trained to just, go and Google. I think that that's helpful, but brings me to my next point of, think about or be mindful about the different ways that you learn. And so when you want to take advantage or decide that you say, okay, I'm not afraid to seek out some help, I think it's important to know how you learn. So if it's listening to a podcast, because you spend a lot of hours on the road, right? You'd be amazed at some of the just the details or the things that kind of just pass through. You're like, oh, wait a minute, that
Yeah.
might ring true.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I've learned to do that. Again, like I said, I had to go ahead and ask for help for some guidance because I felt as though my Google search and my old school methodology just wasn't getting it. And and I hate to say this out loud, and my husband would be proud of me, is real about developing a budget. That's not fun. Um, but it's important and it's real. And then the last piece is right, just kind of holding myself accountable and holding each other accountable for the budget we set. Truthfully, I'm somebody that I will save, 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 and then I'm like, I'm having a bad week, good week, I deserve, and all that saving I've been focusing on, I want to blow it on a on a good weekend.
On a good weekend.
Good weekend, a good, just purchase that's just not helpful. So I think I found this particular chapter to just kind of get me regrounded and refocused, and then just kind of hold myself accountable for the things that I've just, you learn, you pick up, and getting back on track. So I mean, that's an overall assessment, but
I'm so glad you were honest in that it's difficult. Like we were saying before you joined, people don't want to have conversations with anyone else about money, whether it's your parents or your spouse. And they really don't want to have conversations with themselves because it forces accountability. And, it's just too much fun to be had out there for you to.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Have what's a very humbling experience for me is if you've ever checked your banking app and it tells you, it tracks your spending habits, and that is a humbling experience to say, okay, we eat out, we grocery shop, I'm shopping, I do a $40 here, Amazon there. If you track that spending, it's very humbling to say, oh, if I want to know where my money's going,
yeah,
just click on that app, and that offers some knowledge.
Some clarity.
Some clarity for you.
You're like, oh, okay. So what you're saying is, right.
Yeah.
So that means, that hair appointment and right, the list goes on. You don't even think about it because it's small amounts, and then you add up and you're like, oh, okay, well,
$1,000.
Right. I was like, I don't even remember the meal being that good, right? Like,
right. And it goes so quickly. I'm Megan, to your point, my son, my oldest, my youngest son was born with caviar dreams, baby money. He just like whatever, right? And my oldest, he's a saver. However, he's always saying like, I don't know where my money goes. And for him, what that means is he will do without. Like I ain't got to have tennis shoes like every night. So he won't go buy the tennis shoes. He won't buy the designer stuff. He will wear something for 4-5 years. And in his mind, he's budgeting. But he'll do little things every day. And I'm like, that's where your money is going.
That's where your money is. Yeah.
That's where your money's going. But he's not connecting the dots because he's not wearing Kanye West tennis shoes. But you're spending Kanye West money every day, little by little. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes. I have a fun fact to share. Not that you asked for it, but I'm going to share it anyway. I used to be an extreme couponer.
Yes, extreme coupon. I was hoping you would share that.
No, ma'am. No, see, I was feeling empowered to share without you asking. So, I used to be an extreme couponer, and it's very similar. It can be very similar to gambling, right? Where it's because it's a drive, it's an addiction, it's something. I'm like, okay, I give myself $10, and I can come back home with $100 worth of products, right? And I had to tell myself, it took some time because again, you're like, it's $10. It's $10 one time. But if I go 10 times, I've spent $100 that I would have saved on stockpiling, stuff that we will use. But I mean, even that took practice. And so what occurred to me was I read somewhere that receipts are little tiny books that tell you where your money went. And so what was happening is I was saving all my receipts for a couponing exercise. And it occurred to me, I was like, ooh, okay, again, I'm only spending about $10 per event. But if I'm doing it 10 times, I'm not really saving anything. And I was excited about using a coupon where you're like, okay, this product costs this, you get $5, they're like spend 10, get 5 off. And I had to tell myself, I have to start saving the money that I'm saving. It's not $5 to spend on something else. It's
Right.
supposed to be a $5 savings in my account. So, you know,
That's
Yeah.
different. I
Those,
did
those are
not
little
know that.
things that,
Meg.
it's
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I'm buying 2 for 1, but if you get that second one and you don't use it and it spoils and you throw it away, you spent the money and
And you throwing it away.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
yeah.
I do that. I do that. I throw it away. We throw away so much, and so I got to find a way of, because it's just me around at the house. I don't have my greedy child just devouring everything in sight. So we got to figure out how to buy smaller quantities and then just kind of prep it out, I guess, because you end up throwing away things that
Right.
spoil, and vegetables and all that are expensive. I don't know about
It's expensive.
y'all
Yeah.
talking about, but it's expensive.
Yeah. 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 So was there one particular section in the journal for your topic that was more revealing to you, that exposed something that you didn't know, that forced you to take a hard look?
Expose.
right, back to that. You guys just want to dig deep. So
You know,
I would say the section about self-development around wealth building and all of this, right? Like, I over the years I've spent and invested money in things as it relates to my career, but not as much as it would be selfishly for my personal financial wealth, right? Again, I've taken opportunities, I've taken the steps, I met with a financial advisor doing those things, but it just kind of has stopped. And so this was one of those that section I was like, oof, okay, I spent a lot of time, working on my professionalism, but this financial piece really should become a priority again.
so your
And
financial professionalism, you got to work on your
oh
financial
yeah,
acumen.
yeah, absolutely, because it's you got some of those tips and tricks and helpful tools, but to say that I've consistently like poured into that like I should,
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
yeah, I could definitely be doing better. So that section was like, okay. And then thinking about, the letter to myself, I'm like, whoo, I don't know if I'm ready to even hear it back. The truthfulness in what needs to be said and what has been said is it's eye-opening. It's like, okay, what are you doing? Like, Meg, get it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Nicole talked about triggers earlier. This working in this section, in this topic, she had to really talk about some triggers, right? And then I just shared a story about a young man who had something he was carrying with him that he really didn't realize he was until he realized he was. And I've discovered some truths about myself as I was working through this chapter in my finances. Was it any of the activities in this chapter reveal some triggers or some truths about yourself or some beliefs about money that no longer serve you that you had?
Oh, ooh, I would have to say probably the triggers piece.
Okay.
And I say that because when you gotta you read the statement, you think about it, you think about the word that stands out, then you move on to the next piece, and you're like, I'm still hearing that in the back of my mind, like I'm ready to move on to the next topic or the next question, and I can't. So I would have to say triggers, and I think the trigger piece is really around investing in myself again from a financial perspective. I think that was just again thinking through the amount of money you invest in your home, you invest in your children, you invest in your health, you invest in all these things. And I was like, to hear the things that you really invest in, I was like, this is absolutely one that I need to consider and often daily, as a tool.
Yeah. 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 This is a hard one. I have a friend that is she works in the area of finance, and one of the things she does as her service is getting people together personally in their finances, right?
Mm,
So she's an
mm,
accountant or something like that by day, and then she, works with people. And she said the toughest things, one of her rules is when she's going over that, when they're having that conversation and they're working through the finances and stuff, and you realize it's a credit card issue,
mm.
tells people to
You, Nicole, you feel seen?
Man, I just
you know
feel like you're talking
ask,
about me. Why you
ask
talking
what
about me all
yeah,
out loud,
yeah. I mean, she asked them, okay, so what are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about this credit card? And they have options, right? And if they decide on, they collaboratively come to, let's cut this credit card up, or let's put it in the freezer in a bucket of ice or whatever.
Right, right, whatever,
Yeah.
right.
She says she knows the client is not serious when they won't do it. Not
Mm.
not
In
not
the moment.
no, they've committed to doing it and they want to do it, but they want her to do it. They
Oh,
want her to actually take the scissors and cut it up. They want her to
oh,
put it in a block of ice. She's like, no,
this
don't,
right.
because you have to recognize all that comes along with this. I need for you to experience the emotion. I need you to take accountability, because you cut this card up and it's something that you want to need and you can't get to it. It ain't gonna be me.
It ain't gonna be right.
That's
Right.
right.
They could just go, yeah.
Yeah, are you committed to this? Kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it is hard for people to.
Because once you get, when
It's
you put
hard
it
to
all
be
out there,
disciplined. It's just the
yeah,
discipline. It's like you got to do this every day.
every
Like,
day. And it has to be right, like it has to be consistent, right? Like again, you can't do like I do. I'm like, well, I've done,
I
I
did
didn't
like
eat out for
15 months.
four days,
So
but
good.
Friday we treating
Right.
everybody and you get
Just,
extra fries and
just
an extra
cheese,
large.
right? And extra cheese
Right.
and guacamole.
Yeah. See, that those are the things that are important. And I remember also learning years ago, it was a Dave Ramsey's he was talking about the snowball effect, right? And what you do and how to make it happen and all that. And one of the things he said too then was like, you might need a new car. You need a car, but do you need a new car? And then you're like, well, okay, but I need good reliable transportation. Okay, but how reliable? Just like thinking through.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so Dave, like I would like, so if Dave said that to me right now, he would get gut punched about a car, because I'm like,
I need a
I
car.
don't need a Camry. I need a something in the realm of a Lambo. Like it's
One
like,
of those exotic cars. Yeah.
Okay. See, and then he would say,
and then
hey,
he
that
gonna
not
get
that
then
car.
that's
Right.
right, right, not that car. He was like, you can just settle somewhere in the middle, like get a Lexus. And I'm like,
Yeah. What fun is that? Right. Then you
yeah, I know it. Y'all gotta pray for me.
Yeah.
I'm on a journey. I'm
Yeah.
on a journey. God ain't finished with me yet.
yes, hey, same.
Dave
Same.
getting gut punched today.
So have you found something, Megan? For
Mhm.
me, I found that the more disciplined I am with my finances, the goal for me is to be able to, as Nicole mentioned before, have options. I
Mhm.
don't want to go and I'm not a person that is extravagant in my purchases. Like, I'm gonna drive a Kia. I'm gonna drive the baseline Kia at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna drive
Okay.
until she says I'm retired, and then you gotta
I
go.
can go. Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna do that. So uh I've discovered, though, when I want to do whatever I want to do, I want options, or
Yeah.
I want the ease of going into a store or looking at a vacation or whatever it is, and I don't want to have to hear the price. I want to have to hear it because you just need to
You
know.
should be no. Right. You
Yeah,
should know.
But I don't want that to be a factor. Like, if you
Yes.
tell me $2
that's
or
true.
$2
Yeah.
million, I want to be like, okay. But I know the only way you can get there is making sure you
You everything else.
you've done the discipline that you needed to do, and you've invested like you needed to invest. So that's my goal, just to have that financial freedom to not.
I like comfort.
Okay.
As
Thank you,
in
God. And
like
Megan. Thank
I like comfort, right? To
thank
say I want to be able to go on vacation. I want to stay at a nice resort, but I also want to be able to come home and have money when I come back,
Yes,
right? Like
yes,
that. So that
yes, yes.
Nicole,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, so I like comfort, I guess the stability, the just I want to be able to enjoy and be able to be comfortable when I get back.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. So have you discovered any fears? Let me read Ron's comment. He said Udemy.com has over 3,600 free courses slash tutorials on personal finances. So
Mm.
even if you can't afford a financial advisor or
You can.
planner, there are resources out there. You can go down a rabbit hole, and when you do, you may be able to get someone to explain something to you, but
Mhm.
it's no excuse that you can't afford a financial planner, because there's help out there. So
He signed me up for at least 3 of those classes.
oh,
Eh,
how many have
Okay,
you
I'm
attended?
sorry.
How many have you attended? Okay.
Y'all, I've told you, y'all got to pray for me to make some better decisions. Just
it's a
saying,
work.
I'm
It's
in
a,
rebellion right now. This is a tough one.
it's a work in progress.
I
So
know, it's a work in progress.
yeah. Were there any fears that you uncovered? And I'm asking that question because I uncovered fears, and not they were confirmed working in this chapter. So I think sometimes we have a fear of moving in a direction that's unknown. What I mean by that, if you grew up and you were taught these things about money, like, okay, so I'm going to save my money in the bank account. So when someone starts to talk to you about stocks, you think that's a farce, that people out to get you. You've been taught this one thing about insurance. So you know about life insurance, you buy it, and you have it, so when you pass away, people can pay for your funeral, that kind of thing. You might leave a little money. But when you start talking about different other types of insurance that the wealthy use, the compound interest and then all that kind of good stuff, people, no, that's a trick kind of thing. So
Right.
yeah, being cautious. I found that I used to be so cautious about that, because I was wary about stepping into something where I spent my money and somebody took advantage of me. But everything is it's not a con. Like,
Right.
it's not. It's not.
Well,
It's not a con.
it's not. It's not. And it's funny you say that because there's certain things like I just listening to you, I'm like, oh, that sounds suspect. That sounds suspect. And it's just because of just like you said, childhood experiences that made you think that that was such a bad thing. So like you said something in the beginning of the call about credit cards, and so I don't believe in credit cards, but that's because of my own trauma as a young adult, and just not having, again, transparency moment, but just not having the discipline. So so like you said, if you're gonna charge it and then you pay it off every month, then that's yeah, I'm just not that disciplined, so I don't charge it. But I just thinking about my father's like, oh, you always have an emergency credit card, which I got, right? But it's just I don't even think about it. I act like it doesn't exist, and if I can't pay cash for it, I don't need it. And but the flip side of that is the opportunities I could be taking advantage of, like the points and the perks, and again, just being disciplined on that budget. If I can, stay on a disciplined budget, there's no reason why I can't do the credit card methodology, right? To gain the perks and points, and kind of flows into my old extreme couponing deals, right? Like it all makes sense, but I just it's a fear, and I'm like, I can't, from years. It's been, I don't even know how long I've been out of college, but it's been years that they set us up, and boy, oh boy, coming into the school, and
Yeah.
setting up in the
Yeah.
common area, and
Yes.
get
Yes.
this free cooler.
It,
Who needs a
yes.
cooler?
Yes. They give college students any credit card they want.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Yes.
crazy. And so I've been scarred by that, and I'm like, nope, won't get me again. But again, that's the fear and just the trauma of my poor financial planning as a young adult. So
Yeah.
yep, that's real.
So the last question I have,
Yep.
Thank you, Jackie, for joining in, joining in the conversation today. And I think I shouted out Dot early in the conversation, and Felicia as well. So have you discovered anything in your adult life, or did working through this topic in this journal help you discover or recognize some of the things that you just were not taught about finances
Oh yeah.
growing up?
Oh yeah. Um, my father was super saver, right? Like which thankful, because it afforded us a lot of things, but he didn't he didn't know how to do the balance piece, right? So he was so poor as a child that he was like, I refuse, we will never, we will, all these never, never, nevers. And so, I guess just kind of looking at the tightness of how he was with money, right? And learning some of those habits of saving, but then trying to balance it. Um, and again, reading through the chapters and thinking about the things that I know or should be doing and shouldn't be doing more of. I think it all really just, like I said, just hit me like a ton of bricks. Again, even just trying to formulate a letter to myself to say how I'm gonna close this out and move on. Like I got stuck there, and again, I think it's just the balance of, or just the experience of, he was super tight with money, and that's where I try to, again, the comfort piece that feels good to me is like I want to have a little fun, but not too much fun, right? Like so,
Yeah.
it's that pull, tug and pull that I experience that makes it hard. But this chapter, like I said, just had me stuck. Like I gotta do better. I gotta. And then the financial advisor. My father didn't get one until many years later in life, and that was the one thing I decided it was going to be important enough to me to do as a young adult. So again, that's how I got caught up with all those credit cards and was like, wait, help, I need help.
Right.
Help, and so yeah, those are the things that I would say is the fears that just kind of came out, and how I'm dealing with it for sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for sharing. Now we're about to close up, but I'm going to ask the reimagined potential journalers again as we close out to drop in the chat something you know about money and finances now that you were not taught growing up. Just drop in the chat something you know about finances now that you were not taught, didn't see, were not exposed to growing up. I love to know. All right. So, yeah. So, Nicole, you have any other
Yeah,
questions?
I got the one last question. We talked about how our experience with finances and budgeting and things are. What information have you ladies, both of you, shared with your children about money and finance? Like what, if you had to say, I gave them this piece of advice, what's the one piece of advice you've given to your kids?
Okay, I'll share my experience with my lovely daughter who has no concept of money.
Love Christina.
Right. She just thinks it happens. But and I think it's because they come from the electronic thought process of money. And so they don't, they don't never have cash, right? And so I've made a habit of telling her, the moment you get paid, pay yourself. And because I think it's important for her to know, have some money in your pocket so that you can do it again for another 2 weeks. And so, and again, electronically, she doesn't see the paper money like we used to have, right? As often as we used to have it, but just that, and tell her, moving that money to savings, like the moment it hits, just do it automatically and go from there. So.
Yeah.
Nice,
Baby, you said a word, because I remember I was out one time with my youngest and I was like, well, he asked for something. I was like, I don't have any money. He was like, you got that little card. Just use that card thing. Like,
yeah, that take care of everything.
take everything. But I went through all the things that we talked about tonight. The first piece of advice I gave to my kids to help them understand a concept of money was about Santa Claus when they were little. everybody says, Santa Claus makes all these toys in the North Pole, and you just make this endless list, and he drop them off in the chimney. So we're like, no, 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 no. Santa brings the toys, but Mama and Daddy has to pay Santa for those toys. And in order for them to be able to make a list for this year, we had to go through what you already had prior to Christmas and give things away.
Ah, gotcha.
So that was the first thing.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but what I've done most recently, because I wish I had known in my 20s, I knew about insurance. I had life insurance, and I was exploring in my early 20s whole life insurance, and the policies were so expensive compared to
Yeah.
term life insurance. And I knew we needed insurance, so I went with the term life and just got a bigger policy, having no idea. Not that term life is bad, because long as you have something, right? But not knowing how many advantages whole
Yes.
life has with it, and what you can do, and all the different types of whole life insurance. So I'm talking to them about insurance now in your 20s. If you put that money away and put it in an insurance policy, especially one that has a cash value and pays compound interest, baby,
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't tell me nothing if I didn't know what I needed to do at 25.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it just makes me
That's fair.
angry. It makes me
Mm-hmm.
angry that I didn't know
What you know now, right? Right.
Now,
Yeah.
I get it. I think the most important advice I've shared with Trey, when he was in ninth grade, Trey started doing a monthly budget. He started paying the monthly bills out of the account. He saw everything. And so he was like, oh wow, it makes sense why I didn't get those Nikes that cost $1,000 now. Like it started to make sense. And I think the most valuable lesson I have taught him is the difference between wants and needs.
Yeah.
So even when he called me now, he was like, hey mom, I need $50. I was like, okay, is it for a want or a need? And most of the time, he's like, well, I know what you're going to ask me. And I'm like, right. So is it for a want or a need? It's for a want. And sometimes I give in. Sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, I'll give you $50, just don't call me again. And then he calls tomorrow and it's
Right.
like, oh, but I need $50 a day for gas. And I'm like, oh, you didn't need gas yesterday. So yeah, we working on it. We working through some things, but he at least understands a budget. He knows how to manage a budget. He knows, and I think it was an eye opener for him because he was like, "Well, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to have to make these choices. Like, am I going to do half of this and three-fourths of that and two-thirds of this? And I may have to call somebody to come up with a payment plan." Like, he was like, "I ain't doing this," and I'm like, "Great." Now
Make it
you understand how hard it is. Now you understand when you break a baseball bat, somebody go get $500 from somewhere because you
And
need
get it again.
a bat
You need a
tomorrow.
bat, right? That's a need. Right.
That's a need, right? So you just go through that, and so I think that's probably the most important. I think he's naturally curious about money now, like how to make money, how to keep money, and he's taking it upon himself to get more, I would say, professional acumen, professional development in that area.
So I have a couple of comments. Ron said, I quickly learned how to budget and save a little when I moved out on my own. Checking and saving options. Okay, so I have to laugh at that. I don't know how many of you out there are fans of Ari Lennox, the musician. One of her songs is about her first apartment. And it's the craziest song. She talks about when she was at home, she kept the lights on. She ain't afraid of the dark now because she know how to turn them lights off, right? So it talks about all the things you do when you spending your own money, right? So I get that, Ron. And Dot said at church, we were told to pray for checks in the mail. We were taught to pray and it will come, but nothing about paying it back. Nothing
Oh,
about paying it back. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
oh, that's a
Word,
bar.
a word.
That's a whole word. That's a
A
whole
word.
sermon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, so many things, so many things. And I'm hoping this is what I hope from this section in the journal. Again, I said a couple of times, each chapter, each topic that we worked through, Nicole and I have just really shared a lot because we wanted to be open and honest. And we wanted people to know that they could come to this being open and honest, whether they did it independently or with a group.
Right.
Obviously to learn and, take some lessons and all that. But this particular chapter, I wanted people to be honest about how they are spending so that they can become more responsible and accountable for their finances, especially when it's not just them. You got little people watching you. You got a mate maybe depending on you. So I wanted people to walk away with a different sense of responsibility. I wanted people to also open up the possibility to it being more than what you were taught when you were younger or what you just learned in your space about finances. There's so many other vehicles out there for you to create wealth, for you to save in a way that is more beneficial, for you to take care of your family. And this is just for me, not to believe everything is a con. There's some real things out there. People are living wealthy, right? And they haven't had to get it out the mud to do it. It was just a transfer of information that they were able to apply. So I'm hoping people are able to get that out of tonight's conversation, out of this particular topic in a journal.
Yep.
Be more responsible with your finances. Seek information. Figure out how you can make your money work for you and you not just have to work for the money. Because this is an endless supply of it out here. You just got to know how to get it. You just got to know how to get it, and you got to know how to cultivate it and keep it, maintain it, and you got to know how to make it grow. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember in Michigan, me and Ron were dating, and I was the only one working, and he kept saying, "Babe, we need to invest in Bitcoin."
Yes.
Bitcoin at that point may have been $500 a share. I'm like, who's paying $500 a share? Bitcoin now may be 70 grand a share today. And I remember he said we should just buy one every pay period. Boo! I was like, our electric bill was like $1,000 a month. I'm like, it's cold, it's 2 degrees. Who's trying to? I had never heard of such. I didn't even own stock at the time, so in my mind that was just asinine. You're crazy. You're crazy, bro. We're not doing this. Yeah, we should buy one once a month.
Yeah. Yeah. But
This is why we're not getting married. Like in my mind, I'm like, this is exactly why we're not getting married.
But yeah, you're right. It has to make sense for
But
you.
right.
Yeah.
And it was new cryptocurrency. It was like a couple $100. And I was like, now Bitcoin is, I think, almost close to 70 grand a share
Yeah.
for one.
Yeah. And you have to decide how much risk. Bitcoins might be really risky for somebody. Some people might still be in the bonds.
He
I
probably
don't
be
care
mad at
what
me.
it is. Do
He
your
probably mad
research.
at me right now. I
Yeah.
hope I hope he had to get off early.
He probably still on, but yeah, do your research. Do your research.
That's right.
Find
That's
out
right.
the reputable companies, the reputable people, and then
Mhm.
go for it. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, Ellis, for joining the conversation. I think I got everybody that was in attendance this evening. But yeah, Megan, thank you so much for coming
Thank you,
on
Megan.
with us and talking about this topic that no one wants to talk about.
That's right.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to just be vulnerable and put it out there so somebody can hold me accountable.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, get my bestie some sugar.
I shall. I shall.
Well, thank you guys. We will be back tomorrow. Oh my goodness, we have one more day. That's
Oh, I don't like it. I
our
don't like
last
it.
topic in our lifestyle topics.
Mhm.
We hope that you've enjoyed it this far. And
That's
we have
right.
a special guest for tomorrow as well. So we're going to see you guys here tomorrow. Same bat station, same bat time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Facebook page, and we're sharing the videos to Nicole's page as well. Go on Etsy. Well, if you can't see mine, you can see everybody else's. Go on Etsy and purchase the journal. Etsy.com. Search Conquering the Inner Storm and figure out a way to conquer your inner storm, because there are a lot of topics in here that really will make you dig deep and get yourself together. All right.
All right.
Tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye.
man.